The topic I have chosen to cover in my documentary is Italian immigration into the south of Wales. It is estimated now that there are over 40,000 men, women, and children of Italian origin living in Wales, and it is the largest Italian community in Britain. With the large amount of Italians moving over, it was inevitable they would bring their unique culture with them. A number of ice cream parlours, Italian cafes, barbers, and hairdressers opened all over South Wales, with many still open today. The reason I have chosen this topic is because my grandfather moved to South Wales from Palermo, Sicily over 50 years ago, and the Italian culture he instilled into the family has played a huge part in my upbringing. I have always felt a connection to Italy and therefore would like to learn more about why so many decided to make the move. I have heard many stories from my grandfather's past over the years, and am intrigued to hear more and also find out more about his experience first of all in Italy before moving and also since he has moved to South Wales. As well as this, I'm extremely interested in hearing other people's stories who have also immigrated from Italy to South Wales and if they have had similar or different experiences to my granddad, both positive and negative. There are a number of theories that try to explain why an individual would immigrate to another country, with many pointing towards work. One of these being the neoclassical economic theory, which states the main reason for labour migration is wage difference between two geographic locations, with many usually linked to demand and supply. Another theory that tries to explain international migration is the dual labour market theory, that states that migration is mainly due to the existence of pull factors that are present within more developed countries. World systems theories looks at migration from a global perspective. It describes that interactions between different societies can be an important factor in social change. Trade with one country can cause economic decline in another, and then creates a reason for an individual to move to a more economically developed country. There are not many documentaries existing that hugely relate to my chosen topic. However, there was a two-part programme broadcast on BBC Two titled The Welsh Italians, which is hosted by Michele Chiappa, who is a Welsh Italian TV chef. The reason this inspired me is because within the programme, Michele delves into the history of her family who once immigrated from the Italian town Bardi to the valleys of South Wales, and this is what I intend to do in my documentary. The documentary also mentions the impact that the Italian immigrants have had on the South Wales culture by bringing their own culture with them and opening a number of businesses such as gelaterias, coffee shops and many restaurants. Again, this is also a topic I wish to explore in my documentary. Another theme covered by Michele in this documentary is identity. She talks to different people on whether they would identify themselves either as Welsh or Italian, and if there are factors that would affect this, for example, who they support when it comes to sport. The main style of videography I plan to use in my film will be interview-based, as this will give me more of a personal account of the events that have occurred in my grandfather's past, as well as the other people I plan to interview. The interviews will be semi-structured, as this allows me to cover clear themes I wish to discuss, but then also allows room for the interviewee to answer my questions in detail, which will allow me to gain more information from them. I also wish to use more of a documentary style when interviewing, where the subject looks slightly to the side of the camera to where I will be, as I believe it will look more dynamic than the talking head style. You get more of a feeling of the subject talking to a person rather than to a camera. For the location of my interviews, I originally considered visiting an Italian cafe or an Italian restaurant, but I have now decided for them to take place mainly within the home, as this gives a more intimate setting. I am also keen to use a number of extreme long shots and long shots of landmarks around the Italian capital city Rome, as I am visiting there early next year. This is in order to set the scene in parts of my film. For the aesthetics, my plan is to have the whole of the film in colour, as I feel this would come across more natural, and I believe that when used in black and white, the audience would not see a lot of what the filmmaker sees, and therefore misses out to a certain extent. The only time I would consider filming in black and white is if I decide on using archive footage, which I have considered to give some context to some of my interviews. The reason for this is that I consider black and white to imply the past. During the making of this storyboard, I have been able to decide on a number of details that I was previously unsure on, such as videography, aesthetics, and the location of interviews. Therefore, I have found this process extremely helpful in the overall planning of my documentary film.